So you ready, Wes?
I am ready.
Welcome back. We are in the freaking T with Zach Vivian Krupp. He is here. Eric, Timothy, Vivian Lord, Wesley, Vivian Wyatt. We are all back in the house. Zach, great show.
All Vivian all day.
All Vivian. This is the Vivian channel. Great show. You were awesome. Love your energy. I want to kind of come back to April because you're on this trajectory doing this, right? And then all of a sudden on your Instagram, I see a picture of your brain and your head, and it says like next chapter. And I still don't really know what happened, but so do you want to talk about what happened, or can?
Of course.
And by the way, I think some of the best things come out of some of the weirdest crap in our life. Ooh. That time slowed you down and let you write a book, right?
Yep. That's
so
the word.
Let's talk about it. Go ahead. What you got, bro?
First of all, I just have to say I 100% agree with you. One thing I've learned, and I can talk about a little bit more later, but just 100% your setbacks or your setups. And the bigger my setbacks, the bigger my setups. And I hate it in the moment, but it hasn't failed me yet in 27 years. So totally true. Yeah, and going back there, I was, like we talked about before, I was working for Jeffrey Gitomer, and I was selling sales training to salespeople and also experiencing probably the most momentum of my life. I had been very full going on social media. I'd been doing a lot in the company working there, and felt like I was in a good place. And I was actually finishing the book. I was a week away from launching the book, right? So I had this going, and I was so excited, and I'd been working really hard. And then I started getting these like debilitating migraines, and the migraines, got worse and worse. And I had to start leaving work. I took a few days off. I took a vacation. I came back, I still had the issue. And so I ended up having to resign from my job after a few months because I just wasn't able to, and it's fair, I wasn't able to give them, me. I didn't know what was wrong. The doctors weren't giving me the answers. And I went through this full spectrum, and it became a bigger thing, a bigger mystery for a while because I didn't get the answers I want. And for a while I feared, maybe I have a brain tumor, and I had, tingling in my face, all these things. And so I started getting down, I started getting negative, and my attitude definitely got nipped. And the positive yes attitude that you see today that I had in previous parts of my life, I'll be honest, I suffered, I suffered with anxiety. I started having panic attacks. My home life, I moved back home to Chicago. I moved out of my apartment in Charlotte. I drained my savings all the way down on medical bills. And so it was a very, very tough time. But to kind of, I guess, fast forward, it all worked itself out. I built back one moment at a time. I tried everything. I ended up doing chiropractor. And part of it, we think the problem was posture from, sitting, I'm 6'5", and so sitting at the office all day on the computer at work, kind of hunched over, a lot of screen time on the eyes, and then going home and just working like so hard on this book and other things. I think it was a lot of strain, and that can sometimes create the headaches, and they just kind of balloon. So we got that under the wraps. We built back little by little, built back the mindset, overcame, the anxiety, try to be a voice now for anxiety and panic attacks, because yes, they're real. People tell you it's all in your head. I've experienced it. It's horrible, and wouldn't want anyone else to experience it. But we're back going up, right? We're hoping for a bull run.
Good for you.
We can't hear you on
hear
sound.
You can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. But the time away for you was a good thing. And, along the lines, you go through that, then we have a pandemic. And I think a lot of people haven't taken advantage of the time away and the time home, or the way life has changed. Some people are like, I'm going to read a book. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to learn a language. You see some of that, but then you see pockets of like, I'm going to be on Netflix all day long, that kind of stuff. And so for you, it was a blessing, not a curse, right?
Yeah. I think you have to process, everyone has to process it on their own. I think early on, we were all really, really scared. No one really knew what was going on. And for that first few weeks, I think a lot of people, probably myself included, just took we're just going to stay inside and whatever. Yeah. But I think as time goes on, depending on who you are and know, and I'm I'm not trying to take the virus lightly. It's affected. Some people have lost lives, but I think at some point you have to realize, like, you have to live, right? Life is all risk. So you decide what you want to do. If you want to go out, and are you going to pause, or are you going to take advantage? So one great thing about this time that, you guys are obviously doing too, is you're taking advantage.
Yep.
There's a lot of people online, more than ever, right? Everyone's working from home, and there's opportunities here to stand out and get ahead of the curve while other people are sitting back. This is a time to, launch yourself forward. So once you get that comfortness level of just, everything's going to be okay, do what you can, boost your immune system, take simple precautions, but just, go for it.
What's on the inside of your hat up there? Is that something you wrote, or is that
this is it says blessed.
Okay.
And then we have live with passion. This is actually a Tony Robbins hat, so that's one of my guys. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Shout out to Tony Robbins. We'll have you on the show one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we feel like it.
Zach, what the viewers really want to know is, what's this chicken scratch over your shoulder? Explain that on the wall.
Oh, yeah. So, I got another wall that's even crazier than that one, but that's just my planning wall. So I do really well with just planning out my day each day before. So the columns are each day and the things that I need to do in the day, and I reference that and see that every day. And then the stuff in the blue is kind of like it's kind of in the pipeline. It's like, here are 10 main things that I need to accomplish, and as I plan out each day, they're just on the top of my mind, and I plug them into the days to make sure they get done within like a 2-week period. And then at the very bottom, some of these things just kind of rotate. So right now at the very bottom, I still have a lot on my plate. So sometimes I have to write out my problems and say, like, okay, just kind of take this out of your head and put it out there. And here's the things, and here are solutions. Don't worry, you can solve these things. Or at the bottom, I'll write like a phrase, that I want to remember over and over. So one I have there at the top in the blue, you might not be able to see, but it says, where you sit determines what you see, and what you see determines what you do. Have faith. And so that's a big reminder for me, because sometimes I get caught up in the day, and then I'll have like a big moment and realize, like, I'm really close to this. I need to just, put in the work every day and know that even if I can't see the finish line, there's more out there than you think. So that helps me a lot, and just similar to writing in a journal or something, or a planner. But that's my version of it.
Good for you. Yeah.
Is it true on your other wall you probably have a vision board? And I heard the rumor is be on the penalty box live. Is there any no truth to that?
I do have a vision wall, and I'm one of the biggest endorsers of, wow, like, this thing changed my life. Okay, we'll just say it changed my life. I'll try to give you guys a peek here. It's kind of hard on selfie mode, but
holy crap, I guess you do. Look at that.
So it's a whole wall filled in. When I move, I want to make it bigger.
There's Tim. I see Tim and Wes right there. There they are. I see it.
Are your parents upset that you cut their magazines up?
See, I just went all printer, right? I went all millennial style, but
that's cool.
Yeah, you guys were up there. So this is a dream.
Yeah, he took it down. He
Yeah.
took it down this morning before he came on the show. He knew.
Goal reached. Boom.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What are some of the, like, on that vision board? What are some of the things that are closest to happening for you?
I have a lot of things up there. I have, the car. I have the influencers I want to connect with. I have, best-selling book. It's funny. So, like, a lot of stuff up here I've been able to achieve in the past. And I'll just be honest right now. I would love to say, like, I'm ready to, take on these huge business goals. But to be completely honest, this year, I'm immediately more focused on, taking care of my immediate needs. So for me, that's moving into a new place by February, taking care of my health to the highest degree, mentally and physically. And also, I had this setback. I wasn't as social. So I'm young. I want to get back in the dating game a little bit. So I think that's good for my, just overall mojo. And it's kind of time to do that. So those are actually goals that you won't find on there. But overall, I think I'm just taking a little bit of the time, but I have, sit courtside at a Chicago Bulls game, sit courtside at an NBA game. I want to get back to speaking gigs, paid speaking gigs. I want to continue to develop on social media. I want to fix my posture, get in the best shape of my life, become a more generous giver. I have that as a reminder. I know that's like a kingdom principle. So there's a lot up there, but in the past, the stuff that was up there, it came true, and it came true fast. I'm telling you guys, a vision wall, there's so many dynamics to it.
I wanted to ask you, you talked earlier in the book about, I asked the question about were there some people in there that you mentioned intentionally, because when the book comes out and, you look at some of the movies where they have little Easter eggs from other movies, right? So I'm going to how many of those little Easter eggs or how many of those little plants do you have in there that you think that you intentionally, like, I'm putting this in here because I want to meet Tony Robbins? Like, how many are in there? Shout those celebrities out, because I'm going to tag those mofos. Let's see what we get. Come on.
Okay,
it's all part of it, right?
So,
absolutely.
It is. This is it for sure. So I think some of these people too, I've made the first connection with, or I have their phone number. I've had a conversation, but the goal is like relationship, and the goal is like I need to help them. I need to like change their life and think about how I can help them. And the biggest way I try to do that is through ideas, because ideas are free, so you can come up with as many as you want. And actually giving away ideas has been the way that some of these people have reached out to me after I gave a great idea. But I mean, all the guys on the list, man. We got Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. I continue wanting to get close with David Meltzer, who I think's an incredible guy. We have, who else do I got here on the first page? I do like Ty Lopez. I like what he has to offer. And those are kind of the main ones. I'm kind of specific with certain people who would just kind of feel like give off what I give off. So I think those are mostly the main guys that I named there.
So I'll be very transparent. One of the reasons we had you on here was, and Wes doesn't know this yet, but Wes is actually the president of the Britney Spears fan club, and he's always wanted to meet her. And so we didn't know if maybe could you give him some coaching on the side on how to maybe kind of reach out? And because I don't know, Wes on Twitter is "Oops, Wes did it again" is how you can find him on Twitter. So if you could help our boy Wes out on the side, that I mean, if I have to he's willing to pay for it.
He's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw up in my mouth if I have to hear about Britney Spears one more time. So
Britney.
At Oops, Wes did it again. Just Twitter, check it out. It's grotesque.
This is possible. That's what I'm saying. This is totally possible. You have a goal. I don't think your value add or your end game might be the shout out with, "Hey Wes, thanks for the support," or I'm in California, you're in California. Sure, I'll agree to take the picture. Let's take a picture together. That could be the end game, but it's all possible. So yeah, I think all the tools are in the book, but if you want the how to create the message and how to make the massive action plan, we can definitely set that up and make it happen.
Is there any way we could get her to lean into the camera and go, "I love you, big fella"?
I love you, big boy.
I'm looking into
Zach, you haven't heard that story, but we've joked about what I call the shug, which is fellas your age where they shake hands and they hug at the same time. I call that the shug. And I'm like, look, if I like you enough, I'm just going to full on hug you. And I told Wes the first time I meet him, because I never met him face, I'm going to hug him and whisper in his ear, and I'm going to say, "I love you, big boy," just like that. So that's become a thing. But well, Zach, stay on. We're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about Man Food Day, because this show is about marketing and sales. And so last Tuesday was the 3rd annual Man Food Day in Tulsa. And it's grown. It started with 6 guys. The first year it was, I think, 10 last year. We had 14 this year. And basically what I do is they're all customers and friends of mine that I've had for years. And we rent a van and we drive around. We saw 8 restaurants this year, and we walk in and they know the deal. They provide free food for everyone and drinks. But our responsibility is to post a minimum of 2 pictures on Instagram and Facebook. And the response to this is huge. And so many people think word of mouth is like, "Hey, Wes, I ate at such and such." And it was, and it's not. It's literally posting it. It's talking about your favorite places. And we're living through a pandemic right now where thousands upon thousands upon thousands of restaurants are closing and going out of business. And if you love your favorite restaurant and you're not giving them a shout out on Instagram or Facebook, you're missing out. You're missing out to save them and to help them. And so over the course of the day, we posted collectively almost 600 pictures. The comments were incredible. The amount of people, I mean, Tim, we were talking about Pastor Toby. He went and ate at that barbecue place we talked about. He's like, he told me Sunday, it was phenomenal. Like, he just like, you know, and it was a place we never would have eaten at. And the number of people, like there was a lady that night who replied to one of my Facebook posts, and she's like, guess where we're at? Savastano's Pizza, because you posted this today. And I think it's the power of social media, but that's the way word of mouth is now. And like I said, if you want to help your favorite restaurant, you want to help your favorite business. I mean, if you love, I don't know, if you love, and I'm thinking of Jim Stengel and the CMO podcast, and they were talking about secret deodorant. You know, if you love secret deodorant, talk about it. It's okay. It's your social media. Wes smiled because he loves secret deodorant because Britney Spears does.
Is it true, Eric, that it's going to be called Person Food Day next year?
Never. There was a lot of this. The females in my life tend to get louder and louder about why can't we go? It's sexist. I'm like, I don't care. Freaking Man Food Day. You couldn't eat all the food that we eat.
Feel free to have a Woman Food Day, right? Is that what you tell me?
Yeah. You want to set that up? Do Woman Food Day. You know, can we talk about something totally unrelated? But if I have to hear about this whole amen and a woman, come on. Are you kidding me?
Terrible.
Did you see it? I saw it live yesterday when the guy said amen and a woman. I'm like, did he just say that?
Yeah, it's so stupid. Is that the world? That is how stupid some of the people are in the world we live in. And by the way, when you go to church and you sing a hymn, when are we going to start singing a her? I heard that today. Are you kidding me? Like,
the guy clearly didn't know that it's not a man. It's
right.
not. It's just
it's
stupid.
Amen. But Man Food Day was amazing. It was fun. We had a lot of fun with the guys. You know, you got guys rolling down the road in a van, by the way, with masks on. We masked up everywhere we went according to CDC guidelines. But the food was phenomenal, and it's still cool to have people that can see that and appreciate it. There are some people that I'm like, hey, we're doing Man Food Day. I'd love. Why? I don't get that. Because 15 dudes are going to post pictures of your food, and everyone's going to be like, where? I have to have this. What it, you know? And shout out to, people like Mike Bass, Jennifer Savastano, Travis Lawley, who just absolutely roll out the red carpet, right? I mean, Jennifer Savastano, I said, make 2 pizzas. 7 pizzas rolled out, appetizers. It was so much food. It's ridiculous. But she gets it. She sees it. She gets the value in it.
So, Eric, it's only the 4 of us here. All right. Yeah. So go ahead and give us a dark underbelly story that happened that day that you might not share with someone. It's just the 4 of us.
Well, since it's just the 4 of us, we did actually. There was part of the conversation was about the new stimulus package that was being passed, and one of the guys said he had heard that part of this package was going to some funding for putting spiders into space to see how they react and what their spider webs look like in space. And I'm not kidding, this was talked about. Part of that project is they would put male spiders in space and female spiders in space. And then the conversation behind the scenes turned into LGBTQ spiders and would they need a parade? So
Wes, you're a Marvel fan. Is it Marvel that you're or DC?
I am both, but I lean toward Marvel.
Did you just change the subject, Tim?
No. I'm about to go. Is there a future Spiders in Space trilogy coming out?
Well, I can tell you one thing: sending spiders to space, it just sounds like it's coming back as something that's going to end up killing us.
Like pandemic too.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of conversations that were going on.
Yeah, those are the conversations that are had, and then we're all in this group text, and then the conversations the next day are, I just gave birth to a 7-pound, 2-ounce baby, and then an hour later, it had a twin, and so that happens because you eat a lot of food. I'll be honest. I mean, by the end,
what was the over under on adult beverages?
We didn't have as many as you'd think. I think we had 4. Now, at the last stop intentionally is a bar and grill where they did dollar draws, and I'm not kidding. Like, literally, I drank a half of one and said, "Fellas, I'm out." Like I just couldn't physically put anything else into this bottle. I couldn't, and I'm still walking it off, trying to.
No moss.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Zach, you got any other last shout outs, words, comments? You want to throw out a recipe of your grandma's, anything like that today?
I did love my grandma's cookies, but I still haven't gotten the recipe. But I will say it was a great idea what you're saying, because who doesn't love to shop for food visually, right? Obviously, you can't taste it online, and you can't taste it unless you're there. So the next best way is to see how damn good it looks and then go pick it up. So I love that.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you approve. I'm kidding. Wes, producer extraordinaire, thank you. As always, if you need a producer for a live show, this is your guy. Wesley Vivian Wyatt, president of the Britney Spears fan club. You can find him on Twitter at Wes Oops, I Did It Again. He's your guy. Tim, any final comments today?
Nope. Great show as always, Wes. Thank you, Zach. Pleasure to meet you. Eric gave me all of like 5 minutes notice that you were coming, so I didn't have a lot of really good questions for you. But you're a rising star, and I'll be following you. I'm going to make an introduction to a guy that we interviewed, and a new business partner of mine, Brian Cristiano. He owns Bold Worldwide in New York City. Great guy, motivational like yourself. But yeah, Eric, great show. Thank you so much for your amazing hair.
All right, fellas, have a great day. Oh, who's our guest next week?
Our guest next week is a gentleman named Adrian Salisbury. He is based out of England, near London. He is a well-known YouTube Ecamm Live a strategist, just a wealth of knowledge.
Are we going to have issues doing this on StreamYard and he's an Ecamm guy? Is he going to blast us for that?
I think he is an Ecamm guy, and he knows that it's going to be on StreamYard, and I think it'll be a good time for him to plug a little bit of the differences, which will be fun to learn,
I'm using Ecamm as we speak as a virtual cam.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, it's because you're Wesley Vivian Wyatt. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. And as always, be incredible.